All right, and we're back. I am Jeremy Forney, AC Milan fan, and with me I have Omar and Chris.
Go ahead, Omar.
I got nothing much to say. Same old Barcelona fan. That's pretty much it.
Well, you got more to say than I do because I'm a Liverpool fan, so we are suffering right now, and it really is kind of sad. So I'm to drink away my feelings at the moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
didn't y'all
well,
just lose to Wolves?
We just beat Wolves today, dude, in the FA Cup 3-1.
I saw that y'all have the most stoppage time uh losses in the Premier League history, which is pretty impressive. I will say it's end to
You,
end stuff, if you will.
you think though? Do you think this is the world balancing itself out? Because I bet if you go back to when we had Klopp, how many times did we have stoppage time winners?
but you even started this
Yeah,
season
that is
like
fair
that.
enough.
The start of this season was like that, winning in the last minutes.
Yeah, karma,
They were
man.
grinding out wins very last minute, and now it's just coming to bite you on the ass.
It's the football Illuminati. They're evening everything out. They're making sure that we get our comeuppance at the moment. So yeah, it's the football Illuminati.
There's no conspiracy theory trying to conspire against Liverpool and ensure
These,
that y'all's
these these
y'all's
people might end up.
downfall.
No, they might end up in the Epstein files. You never know. We ever see them.
There's definitely some kind of control because after all of the levers Barcelona's pulled, still being at the top, and Real Madrid doing whatever they do with the refs, and they're still sitting there on the top. So some kind of conspiracy is definitely playing through.
I think that even without the levers, I think we still would be here. Just looking at all the youth players we brought up, because we have not spent a dime on Yamal, Cubarsi, Fermin Lopez. Uh, who else? Who else? I think we spent 2 million on Rooney. I can't say his last name. He's the Swedish kid. Um,
Jordal.
Something like that. So I mean, all in all, without levers, I think we still would have been fine.
Luckily. So that breaks up at least the first shout out. I'm going to do my shout out of the week, and that is going to be Ruud Gullit claiming that after Arsenal versus Chelsea, he has seen the worst soccer and does not want to watch it again. To be perfectly honest, though, has he not been watching soccer for the past 10 years? Because I feel like a lot of the managers that have been winning competitions have drug out just tame, lame, defensive counterattack. I mean, look at Max Allegri, Sarri. You can sit there, Simeone. And he was saying that there was all passing and no creativity. Has he not seen a lot of what
I don't think that
Guardiola's
he
doing?
was. I don't think that he was complaining about the passing. I think that because what brought about his complaints was the game against Brighton, where they took, I think, 30 minutes to restart the game, which is, if you look at time wasting and everything that comes into that, feigning injuries and throw-ins and taking your time. If you're getting subbed off, instead of jogging off the field, you start walking off, you take your time, you do a little turnaround, clap to the fans, things like that. I think that that's what he's upset
But
about, which
he was also talking about playing for set pieces, sitting there doing no creative runs, passing the ball into
well
just at each other for sake of passing.
But seriously, but you guys know all about time waste. Like Omar, just think about the amount of girls you've been out on a date with, and they'll be like, "That was a waste of time." I mean, hours, hours.
weren't you on a date earlier? Didn't that waste your time?
I was definitely wasting her time. That's why I'm sitting by myself.
As you sit at a bar by yourself, drinking your sorrows away. But I think Ruud Gullit did have some grounds to stand on with his comments. I actually do agree with him to a certain extent. I think that playing for set pieces, if that's what you're good at, then that's what you're good at. No fault to Arsenal. Like they found it, they found their niche, their niche, and they're playing into it. If Pep's teams, they're really good at holding possession of the ball, passing it around, being patient. Is it their fault for being good at that and playing into that? Same as Arsenal, they know that they're good at set pieces. They have two center backs that are what 6'3", 6'4". They're tall. Why not play into that, right?
I mean, yes, but if you're a top team that has spent, $1 billion in the past 3 seasons to go and create a team at what's supposed to be the height of soccer tournaments there, and you're seeing basically a team like Arsenal that is literally doing scratching and crawling just to maintain the league because you can almost taste the fact that they think they're going to lose that lead. And
But
they're just
over the
playing to not
years,
lose it more than playing to win it.
they've caught a lot of slack from commentators because they have been able to grind out those results because they've let they had a 6 point lead last year and they let it slip to Man City because they couldn't
Mm-hmm.
grind out results. They kept letting go of winning positions throughout the league, and now that they're grinding games out, holding on to leads, now it's an issue.
Well,
So
just so you know, last season the league was already over. It was a one-horse race the whole time. The mighty Reds took it home.
the mighty
It was
Reds.
thrown 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. My apologies. I forget Liverpool wins the league twice in 30 years, and he can't mistake in it. You have to get all the facts right. Even though one of those was a COVID year. So does that even count?
Even more important, it's like if you think about we beat the virus to win the league. So we had to stay. We might have
We
lost.
did beat the virus. That we did.
Well, I think that the answer to COVID was Buffalo Wild Wings and Bud Light and soccer. That was the way to get
A
through the
lot of
COVID.
FIFA in the basement.
Yeah, a
Uh,
lot. Terrible
Uh,
times. Terrible.
well, that was your shout. So my shout out is to the maestro himself, the Trumpster of Donald, for knowing who Lionel Messi is this week. Brought him to the White House.
Well, so funny enough, I saw a couple months back, Trump had invited Ronaldo and his wife out to the White House, and a lot of Ronaldo fans were saying, "Oh, he doesn't even live in the country. He got invited to the White House before Messi." And then now that Messi got invited, they're trying to downplay it, saying it's not that big of a deal because Ronaldo did it months ago and things like that. It's like, if to the same argument, Messi won the World Cup 4 years ago. If Ronaldo wins the World Cup sitting on the bench with Portugal this year, Messi fans can use the same argument. Well, Messi did it 4 years ago, but he started on the field rather than the bench. So I don't know. You
they're
can tell none of
irrelevant.
the
They're irrelevant. They're just grinding away their paychecks at this point, and there's still the world split between Messi and Ronaldo, and they've sat
yeah.
there in unimportant leagues trying to make themselves either have fun or make a ton of money.
Yeah, I'll never
Well,
understand the argument, but maybe one week we'll do devil's advocate and we'll actually do this argument, what Messi versus Ronaldo. Maybe we'll try and make that argument one week.
Okay, we're gonna have to bring guests in then for that one. We need a full panel.
Well, we need to make
Messi
friends
versus
first.
Ronaldo, who's best?
We'll bring Aaron and Tyler on.
I was gonna say anyone but Aaron.
We need somebody to stand for the German side at this point.
The German side.
Anyways,
Because he's a Bayern Munich fan.
Yeah.
so Chris got his out, Forney got yours out. It was beginning of the week. Real Madrid played. I can't recall who they played. But in one moment of the game, Rudiger somehow, some way managed to accidentally knee somebody in the face.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. He's been for the longest time. Real Madrid had two center backs that were just extremely dirty, went out of their way to injure players, and that was Pepe and Ramos. They got rid of those two donkeys, and now they just have one that's by the name of Rudiger, and he's a good defender on his day, but oh my gosh, is he dirty? Like he's by far the dirtiest player, and nothing made me happier than all those years ago. I think it was against maybe South Korea or Japan in a World Cup when Rudiger was there. He was going up against an opposing player, and he did one of those annoying, overly ignorant runs that he does, staring at the attacker, and then maybe 10 minutes later, the team actually came back and beat them 2-1. And that was the icing on the cake because his personality, his playing style is just so dirty. It's so annoying. I hate it. I hate his face. I just can't stand him as a player. Um, but yeah, that was my moment of the week. He doesn't need to be on anywhere near a field. He just needs to put his cleats up and retire.
I mean, how's that guy even playing for Real Madrid? It's just, I mean, for being a player for a team that's supposed to be getting the top players, and Rudiger
He
finds himself
he
at the
he
heart
fell
of that.
into that. He fell into the category of a not decent player, but really great player. Not he won't go down as a legend in my book at least. And that's not to say that book is worth a fuck, but um, he fell into that category of a really good player in his position that was available for a free transfer. So obviously Papa Perez came out and got him from Chelsea.
Well,
I think that's the only reason.
he falls into that category where you're good in other leagues, but you're not good enough for the Premier League. I mean, that's really what it is.
He wasn't amazing in the Prem. He was not amazing.
But he was not
He
amazing
was
anywhere. He was just averagely good, just above
he was
average.
an average. Well, no, he was good. He was good when he played for Roma. But then again, that's the Italian league, so that's not really
He
a
wasn't even that
you can't.
good. Like, nah, he wasn't even considered one of the top defenders in Italy.
No, again, he's just Premier League's just far superior. So
Far superior, which is why in the Champions League somehow we have Tottenham sitting there, bottom relegation in the Prem, somehow facing off Atletico. We have Newcastle going off against Barcelona, and Liverpool not even in the Champions League stage right now,
Yeah,
somehow
they are.
managing to go up against the. I mean,
it,
you're talking about in their in the
I thought
position in
they're
the
in
Prem.
fifth.
it is hilarious that
They're not.
Tottenham are actually into the playoff rounds, not the knockout rounds, when they could get relegated this year. It's so sad. But
How would that work hypothetically if Tottenham were to get relegated and say in some crazy scenario they do
They
win
win.
the Champions League? What happens then?
They stay in the Champions League, but then have to go through the
The second
championship.
division?
Yeah,
I just don't see the Premier League allowing that to happen. I think that they would keep them up.
I think they'll
collusion. Then
stay up. They'll find a way to stay up at the end of the
They
day.
will.
I mean, I was looking at their team. There's no reason why they're sitting there at the bottom. They've got top
It's the
talent.
injuries. It's the injuries. Without a doubt, it's the injuries.
And I think you see what Big Ange said a few weeks ago on Sky Sports. Well, like it's the atmosphere around the club as well. They're just not a big club. I mean, Mourinho said the same thing. Conte said the same thing. Like
Yep.
the way they act inside of the club, they're just not a big club. So
That was
for
known.
all the
That
Tottenham
came,
fans, you're not a big club.
no. But even in their, I was reading a few years back. I think this was just after they'd gotten rid of Bale, just after they got rid of Modric, and I was looking at their 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and essentially they weren't even investing money to be the top team. They were just happy to be in the top 5 for 10 years, and that was their investment plan. They were just going to pocket money, not to win, just to be relevant. And that's when all of a sudden Pochettino has issues with them, and all of the other coaches are sitting there going, they don't want to invest to win. They just want to invest to be relevant. And I can definitely see that culture just sitting there, seeping them dry.
The issue is that all those years ago when they made the Champions League final, they were already on the fence as to what type of project they wanted to be.
Mm.
Once they made the final, they believed in their own hype, and rather than adapting, they further dug themselves into that hole. And it's just a hole they're never gonna fully dig themselves out of. They're never gonna come. In my lifetime, I don't believe that they'll compete for a Premier League. I don't.
I mean, in
They'll
my
be
lifetime, they
comfortable.
have.
They'll well, no, because the only year that I could have seen them winning it was when Leicester won it.
That was
Which is ridiculous.
when everyone said that they finished third in a 2-horse race.
Because they did.
Yeah.
The whole season it was Tottenham and Leicester fighting for first. And then the last two match days, Arsenal somehow came up and snatched second from them.
Very Spursy. Very
Yeah, very
Spursy.
Spursy.
They put the Spurs to him. But
Very small club
yeah,
mentality.
that's crazy. And then you have Newcastle in 12th place right now, struggling to get anything, even though they beat Man United. So they can beat Man United and struggle in the
They
rest
beat
of the
Man
time.
United with 10 men.
They did.
With 10 men.
The
It was a
Reds
pretty
really
nice
saw
winner,
red.
though.
It, it but that's one of those games where I think Man United almost was overthinking it because they ever since Michael Carrick took over, they've played really good. They played really well. They've actually they've what beaten Man City, Arsenal, and did they beat Tottenham as well in that time period? It's not to say that's a great accomplishment if they did, but they still beat a Big Six club as well. Um, but I don't know. I'm. What are y'all's thoughts on the Champions League ties? There's some that are very clear and obvious as to who's going to go through, but for like the Liverpool and Galatasaray,
I mean,
that could go.
Liverpool got a great draw, but did you look at? Someone was telling me the other day the way that the two sides of the bracket are done. One side is loaded, and the other side is
Yeah.
Yep.
nothing.
One side has one out of the eight clubs on one side. There's one Champions League winner, which is Barcelona, and on the other one, how many of them have won the Champions League? I think the only one that hasn't is Atalanta. Oh, and Galatasaray, they haven't won it either. Now that I think about it, but
On
on
the
so on two sides, right? So you have two sides. You have on one side it's Barca, Newcastle, Atletico, Tottenham, the team from Norway. I can't think of their name.
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo
Yeah,
Glimt.
Bodo Glimt, Sporting, and then the last two are Arsenal and who's Arsenal facing? Bayern. So out of those eight teams on that side, only one team has won the Champions League, and that's Barcelona. On the other side, you have eight teams, and I think six of them have won it.
Was it PSG,
So
Real Madrid?
PSG, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Man City, Bayern, Galatasaray, Liverpool, and who does Bayern? Atalanta. So out of those eight teams, how many of them have won it? You can
Yeah.
you can probably name off more that have won it than not, right? Because the only two I can think of for sure that haven't won it on that side are Atalanta and Galatasaray. Those are the only two. So you have six of eight and one of eight. So one's very top heavy, and the other one is just there's no competition
But I
there.
mean, even looking at the fixtures, one, you look at the fact that it's supposed to be a group or it's supposed to be a league, and instead only like none of the teams face the same teams that the other teams did, which is lopsided as it is. Even if you have 8 games, it doesn't make really much of a league. You might
So
as well just keep it. Might as well just
well,
keep it
no,
at the group stages.
Real Madrid and Man City faced each other once this year. Liverpool and Galatasaray faced each other
No,
once
I'm
this
talking about
year.
in the league itself. Like no team faced that had the same cycle of teams as any of the other teams. Not much really of a league, if you want to call it that. It's really not fair. Form changes based on weeks and months where you go through, and some teams are going to have more stacked versus others. But to go call it a league, you play 8 games out of 25 teams that are sitting there, and then you want to do a knockout stage and call it the round 32, and the other teams have an
Well,
extra
it
month
wasn't
to
around
get ready.
it wasn't around a 32. It was a playoff. It's
They
not around
call
a
it around the
32.
32 because now
They
we're
call it
around
a
16.
playoff. They call it a playoff fixture.
Whatever
Right
they
now
want to call it.
it's right now they're in the round of 16. Then they move on to the quarters. I know Italian math doesn't add up, but that's
It's just
real.
what they're calling it. They don't even know what they're calling it. They're calling it around the 32, but a knockout stage for pre-entry, whatever they want to do. But still, it didn't sit there and filter out. You're looking at this knockout of 16 going, well, these are some crappy lineups. You still have Sporting sitting there against Bodo Glimt.
Bodø/Glimt.
Nobody's sitting there excited about that one. You have,
That one actually might go either way.
but it's the only one that might go the other way because then you have PSG versus Monaco and you
No,
have Real Madrid versus
PS,
Manchester City.
PSG versus Chelsea right now.
Was it PSG
Which, if
versus
you
Chelsea?
remember, if I know you're older, memory is kind of an issue for you, but if you remember last year in the summer, PSG lost to Chelsea 3-0 in the Club World Cup final. That could go either way. Given Chelsea now has a new
No, but those are
manager
the
that's still
only
trying to find his
games.
feet.
I'm saying those are the only games that you find them to be difficult. All the other ones seem lopsided. I mean, Atalanta might give Bayern Munich a bit of a challenge.
But you know who's going to go through there.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, but what I'm saying, it's too obvious. But Barcelona most likely is going to get past Newcastle. So most likely, Atalanta is gonna end up losing, even though they can throw something around.
Who does AC Milan
Galatasaray
play?
is going to end up losing to
You,
Liverpool.
you two need to get a room or something while we figure all this out.
Who
What?
does who does AC Milan play?
Well, AC Milan actually plays Inter. At least a derby. At least it's a derby this week.
Chris,
Listen,
what are your thoughts on
we're
Liverpool? Do you think that they'll find a way past Galatasaray?
That's what?
You think that Liverpool will get onto the quarterfinals?
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll find a way through that one. Then we'll see. I mean, this could be one where Liverpool are probably a little bit more motivated by the Champions League at this point. The Premier League's not happening. We look like crap generally, but Champions League could be the thing where they're just going to focus on, and you just never know. And let's be fair, like Liverpool at least have the squad that if they actually figure themselves out, they could rally and potentially have a go at winning it. But it doesn't look like it right now, but they have the team to do it.
And we spoke about this before. Liverpool had the issue of they have a really good squad. However, they brought too many new players in at once. What you need to do is what Klopp did over time. You integrate one or two players so that way you don't have a full team learning the system. You just have one or two, you know, and you rely on your seasoned veterans. Like before, you had your Andy Robertson, your Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Van Dijk. Before Van Dijk, before Konate, who was Van Dijk's partner in the defense, Joe Gomez. So what do? They ease Konate in to where he could be a starter, but they have Joe Gomez there as backup.
Yeah.
And before you had Luis Diaz on the left, and now you have Cody Gakpo. But if Cody Gakpo isn't playing up to speed because he hasn't learned the system yet, then you don't have Luis Diaz to rely on because you sold him. And that's the issue with Liverpool right now.
All the speed's been taken out of the attack. Like Klopp's forwards outside of Roberto Firmino generally were very fast and dynamic and were just speedy. And we've got a lot of technique now, but we don't have a lot of speed. So it's just
No.
different. And I don't enjoy the slot ball. I think it's completely different how Klopp played. I know Slot's constantly having to defend the way they play. That Liverpool are playing, like it's just not entertaining, regardless of results. Like Klopp was at least always entertaining, regardless of results. Like slot ball's not halftime's not entertaining. So, but I think we'll have too much for Galatasaray. Be through to the next round. I think we'll just see from there.
Well, and I'm not sure if you watched the previous round when they played Juventus. I think Juventus went down to 10 men in the first half, and after that, even then, Juventus was still dominating.
Yep.
Like the only reason why Juventus didn't go through was because they didn't finish their chances. There was a one-on-one. McKennie laid it off to an attacker. I think it was in the 101st minute against Galatasaray. He should have slotted. Yeah, he should have slotted the ball into the back of the net, no issue. Puts it wide, and then maybe 5 minutes later, Osimhen runs down the pitch, scores one, and that's all they needed, just one goal. After that, it took the win out of Juventus' sails. They didn't have the legs to fight anymore, being a man down. So I don't think Galatasaray is that great of a team. I think that they'll be knocked out pretty comfortably.
They
by
had
Liverpool.
a great first game against Juventus. I think they completely
They did
turned
because
them
they
on.
beat them. They beat them what 5-2 or 5-3.
Yeah, I think it was 5-2.
I
mean they steamrolled that first game, and that just set them up for, Juventus had to attack. They had to go and do it, and yeah, like you said, after the red card, they tried, but I mean, the exhaustion is going to set in. You say they missed that easy slot in, but you're a man down. You're playing overtime, and you've been playing a man down for greater part of the match. It just gets exhausting. So I think good on them for trying. It almost seemed like they were going to make it, but they're going against the pace and everything from Gala. They just managed to pull through. But I think their defense is shaky. They're not going to have anything. Don't give them a counterattack. Don't give them a run in the back. She'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
But, what about Barcelona? How do you rate Barcelona versus Newcastle?
I think so. We have the benefit in having played them earlier this season. We beat them 2-0 based on the back of Rashford's 2 goals. So one of them was a great long shot outside the box. The other one was a header. But in that match, I'm not sure if y'all watched it. Pedri put up a great game. He put up a great match against them. Now, the only downside right now is we will not have Frankie de Jong for either of the legs. I think he's questionable for the second leg, but for sure he'll be out the first. With him being out, however, we're starting to rely more, and I personally really enjoy this. We're starting to rely more on Marc Bernal. Great, 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 great youngster. He played a great game against Atletico Madrid. Sadly, last year, I think it was the fourth or fifth game of the season, he tore his ACL. So he was still trying to find his legs this year, trying to find his confidence, trying to rebuild his confidence. But with using him more and more, he's starting to become more confident on the ball. He scored 2 goals against Atletico on Wednesday, and with that, he's starting to become his own style of player, which I really enjoy. But I think we will beat them. I could see it finishing 4-2 over the both the legs, and I'd be more than happy with that.
And I think Barcelona probably most likely will. I'm not gonna. I think that Newcastle has that kind of wild card ability about them. They do have a high paced game that if they really want to go and encourage the kind of players that they have to go all out, they're going to make Barcelona struggle at some point, whether they make their chances count or not, whether Gordon is on or not, whether their offense is going to be able to make those chances count. I think it's going to be an interesting game, to be honest. I think Newcastle has nothing to lose, so they're going to go full out. Versus in the group stage where they're kind of just trying to feel it. They might be a little bit edgy. They might be kind of, holding off a little bit. This one, they're sitting bottom or mid-table in the Prem. They got nothing to lose.
No, I think that they're comfortable in the Prem. They know that they're not gonna win anytime soon. They're also not gonna get relegated, so they have no concern. And maybe next year is a down year for them. They don't fight in Europe, but they focus on the league to get back into the Champions League, which I could see them doing. So I think this year is if they're gonna have a deeper push into the Champions League, it's gonna have to be this year, undoubtedly. So I could see them putting all their eggs in one basket in the Champions League and pushing for it. But um, I think the quality of Barcelona players just gives me too much for them. Honest, and that's you can say it's biased, but if you look at facts, our players are just better.
Yeah. They just gotta not get too cocky like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. What did we lose Chris here?
I think we lost Chris.
No,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry, I just ran into Lionel Messi, so
Oh well, you,
uh,
you should have put him on there. We need the shout outs. Come on.
I
don't,
only do the true goats, Divock Origi, those types.
Divock Origi. Oh
I
please.
could see as soon as he saw you, you ran off looking at your teeth. I don't blame him.
Hey, there's been there's been gaps in the goal that he's scored in smaller than the gap between my teeth, so I get it.
What do we think about the Real Madrid Man City? Who do we think is going through there?
How is it? How is it that that's been a game? Real Madrid versus Man City in the group stage has been a
Every
game.
single year for the past
Yep.
6 years.
Yep. And it's
And
for some reason it's been the highlight game. In my opinion, every single time they face each other, it is the highlight game. I don't. Maybe that's with when Carlo Ancelotti was playing. That's when Zinedine Zidane was coaching them. They were at least there was some kind of excitement in it. This one, I honestly think might be the first time that there's no excitement in this game.
Yeah, there's no drama. This, I guess, generally the drama has been like the year that like City finally won the Champions League and beat. Yeah, and there was just it was Atletico. I was thinking about where there was a lot of animosity on the field, but then when was it last year that they played each other in the Champions League and Real came back and won?
I mean, they've done it so many times
The
now.
late show, yeah, they've done it so many times that like you can't. And you know, to me, Real Madrid's most important player has been Courtois. Like that guy is kept. Courtois has kept their Champions League hopes alive so many times. But just the saves the guy makes is incredible.
Yeah, he's a great player.
I think he's been like he'll never be heralded as the most valuable player, but to me, over the last 6-7 years, Courtois has been their most valuable player. He's kept them in so many games that it's been unreal.
No, I mean it's definitely hard to disagree. I think if myself as a Barcelona fan, I think if I were to choose one player from that team to bring into mind, it would have to be Courtois. You know, all respect to Joan Garcia, but he's not Courtois.
I mean, Courtois has the height, he's got the ability, he's got the knowledge. He can span that goal like nothing.
You should see the size. I've seen him play for Chelsea 3-4 times back in the day. He's massive. In real life, he's gargantuan. He's just massive. And this goalkeeper's just presence. So I don't know. I personally think City will win this one. I think Real are the same animal.
I think Madrid is going to be missing Mbappe for the first leg. I think he's questionable for the second, but for sure he was going to miss the first. So
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to have Bellingham. They're not going to have Mbappe. They're not going to have Rodrigo, who loves to play against Man City for some reason. So just those three players out, I think that it's going to cause the issue for Real Madrid.
That has definitely been a trend, though. How often, especially this year and last year, Real Madrid out for injuries? Defense is completely gone. They bring in players gone. Offensively, they've just constantly been rotating and struggling with form and fitness. Like it's just ridiculous with what's going on at Real Madrid and that. You can't even say it's a fair competition at this point.
No, it's true.
I mean, I was still looking at their lineup. They still have Militao. They still have Mondi out. That's kind of recovering. Alaba's trying to recover. All of their defenders are just trying to play slot back in. How many times?
Here's the biggest thing. So who's going to win the Champions League? Because I think this year is the first year there's no clear favorite. Like I couldn't tell you who's going to win it this year or who should win.
I think Bayern got it.
Who?
Bayern Munich.
You think Bayern Munich win it? German domination this year?
I think looking at style of play, and all things considered, their only loss this season in the Champions League came to Arsenal. In the league, they lost to Augsburg. Augsburg, that's a fluke. It's just an off day. Arsenal, I think they got to better them that one day. However, when it comes to Champions League final, you talk about a game that they've been there, they've done that. I think Bayern Munich, if they were to face Arsenal in the Champions League final, which is a very real possibility. Sorry.
Do you think that this is the year where Arteta could win? Maybe not just one, but two trophies. Like I think, I think City's going to catch him. I think City's going to catch him in the league.
I think City catches them.
And I don't see them winning the Champions League, but at some point, like on their day, they're fairly robust. Like at some point, you got to think, Arsenal, you're actually going to do something.
They're going to get to the final and choke. That's just they're going to get in their own heads. It's going to happen the moment they get there.
They're going to get past Bayer Leverkusen. Then they face who? Bodo Glimt or Sporting. They'll get past that team. In the semifinals, they'll have to face one of either Barcelona, Newcastle United, or Atletico Madrid, or Tottenham. I think the only team in those four that gives them a good, clean fight is Barcelona.
Yeah.
But even then, you get a corner kick against Barcelona, and you have Gabriel and you have Saliba against Kubarsi and Eric Garcia. They're going to score a corner on us, no doubt in mind. And then what are they going to do? Sit back and defend the entire time. I think Arsenal, as much as it pains me to say, I think Arsenal will make the final.
I think they will make the final, but who they're going to face there is going to be questions. They're going to end up facing the combination of Manchester City or Bayern.
I could see it being Bayern. Well, You also have PSG in there.
PSG has not been the same team they were last year.
They haven't been.
Oh, yeah.
However, once they get into the later stages of the Champions League, they've shown that they know how to show up.
They might know how to show up, but I think that this one's going to be a whole different ball game. They're going to face different teams and lineups. I don't think that they have it. Honestly, I just don't think that the mentality is there. This one, I see it personally. I don't think Arsenal's going to make it. I think Barcelona is going to go through, and they're going to face Manchester City. Would be my guess at how that's going to go. And I think Barcelona most likely is going to win that one.
On a different
My
note,
prediction.
Beer's empty.
Yeah. On a different note, beer's empty, so we're going to have to recharge and wait for the next round until we can come up with the next topic. So next topic, then we're going to have to do it on the best player of the world, Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo.
Where are we going? Where are we going for the World Cup? All the things.
That one too. Where we're going for the World Cup? I know my preferences.
All right. Well, until next time.
All right. Till next time.